Nobody tells you. That's the worst part. Nobody pulls you aside and says, hey, what you just did, that's why people leave the room when you walk in. They just drift. Invitations slowly stop coming. Conversations get shorter. People become mysteriously busy every time you reach out. And you're left wondering what you did wrong. Here's the uncomfortable truth psychology has confirmed repeatedly. Most people who push others away have absolutely no idea they're doing it. The habits that make people pull back aren't obvious. They're not the dramatic things. They're quiet, subtle, deeply ordinary behaviors that feel completely normal from the inside and deeply off-putting from the outside. Today we're going to name them, clearly, without judgment, because awareness is the only place change actually begins. Habit 1. You make every conversation about yourself. Not because you're selfish, not because you don't care about other people, but because somewhere along the way, you developed a conversational reflex. The moment someone shares something, your brain immediately searches for your own version of that experience. They mention they're stressed at work. You tell them about your stressful week. They share exciting news. You redirect to something exciting that happened to you. They're mid-sentence, and you're already loading your response. Psychologists call this conversational narcissism, and it's far more common than people realize. The person on the receiving end doesn't feel heard. They feel like a warm-up act for your monologue. And after enough of those interactions, they stop sharing. Then they stop reaching out. Then they just stop. The fix is simpler than you think. Stay in their world 2 sentences longer than feels natural. Ask one more question before you pivot to yourself. That gap, that tiny pause where you choose curiosity over reflex, is where real connection lives. Habit 2. You give unsolicited advice. Someone tells you about a problem, and immediately, because you're smart, because you care, because you genuinely want to help, you launch into solutions. Have you tried this? You should really do that. Honestly, what I would do is, here's what they actually wanted: to be heard, not fixed, not redirected, not handed a 5-step plan before they've even finished explaining how they feel. When you jump straight to advice nobody asked for, you accidentally communicate 3 things. Once, you weren't really listening, you were waiting to speak. 2. Their feelings are a problem to be solved, not an experience to be understood. 3. You trust your judgment more than you trust them to figure it out. Even when your advice is brilliant, the delivery kills the connection. The most socially intelligent people in any room have mastered one deceptively simple skill. They ask, do you want me to help you think through this? Or do you just need to vent? That one question makes people feel respected before they feel helped. And respect is what makes people want to come back. Habit 3. You chronically one-up people. They ran a 5K. You ran a half marathon. They had a rough day. You had the worst week of your life. They're proud of something. You've done something bigger. One-upping doesn't always come from arrogance. Sometimes it comes from excitement. You genuinely relate and want to connect. Sometimes it comes from insecurity. You feel invisible, and this is the only way you know how to matter in a conversation. But here's what the other person experiences. The moment they share something meaningful, the spotlight swings away from them and lands on you. Every single time. And humans have a very accurate internal sensor for this. They can't always name it, but they feel it. And that feeling, I can never just have my moment around this person, quietly builds into something they can't shake. Pride is fragile. When someone shares something they're proud of, that moment is precious to them. If you crowd it with your own story, you don't just miss the connection. You damage it. Let people have their moment completely. Celebrate it like it's the only story in the room. That kind of generosity is rarer than talent, and people remember it. Habit 4. You use humor to deflect every serious moment. You're funny. People laugh around you. That feels good, and it should. Humor is genuinely one of the most attractive human qualities. But there's a version of humor that pushes people away instead of pulling them in. And it happens when the joke arrives at exactly the wrong moment. When someone gets vulnerable, when they share something real, something tender, something that costs them courage to say out loud, and your first response is a punchline. They don't laugh. They just quietly close the door. Because what they heard underneath the joke was, your realness makes me uncomfortable, so I'm going to make it smaller. Even if that was never your intention. Even if humor is just how you cope with discomfort. Even if you deflect yourself just as quickly as you deflect them. The most magnetic people are funny and able to sit in serious moments without flinching. They know when to make the room laugh and when to let the room breathe. That ability to hold both lightness and depth is what makes people feel genuinely safe around someone. Because funny is easy to find. Someone who can hold your pain without making it a punchline, that's rare. That's the person people keep. Habit 5. You perform interest instead of feeling it. This one is the subtlest and the most damaging. You make eye contact. You nod at the right times. You say, "Wow, really? That's interesting," at perfectly reasonable intervals. From the outside, you look completely engaged. But you're not. You're waiting. You're thinking about something else. You're physically present and mentally elsewhere, and no matter how well you think you're hiding it, the other person knows. Not consciously, but their nervous system picks it up. Humans are wired to detect genuine interest versus performed interest. We've been reading each other's microsignals for thousands of years. The slight delay in your response. The eyes that don't quite track. The questions that could have been asked by someone who heard nothing. People don't know why they feel vaguely hollow after conversations with someone who performs attention. They just knew something was missing. And after enough of those hollow interactions, they stop bringing their real self to the conversation. They give you the surface version. Because the surface is all the interaction ever actually reached. Real attention is one of the rarest things one human being can give another. Not perfect attention, nobody achieves that. But genuine attention. The kind where you're actually curious about what happens next. Where you actually care about the answer before they've given it. That quality alone, true presence, makes people feel more seen in 5 minutes with you than they feel in 5 hours with almost anyone else. Here's what every single one of these habits has in common. They all create the same feeling in the other person. I don't quite matter here. Not dramatically. Not offensively. Just slightly. Quietly. Consistently. And that quiet, consistent feeling is what slowly moves people away from you without either of you ever fully understanding why. The good news is this. None of these habits make you a bad person. Every single one of them developed for a reason. Usually protection, usually insecurity, usually something learned long before you had the awareness to question it. But awareness is where it ends. Once you can see the habit clearly, once you can catch it in real time, you can make a different choice. Not perfection, just a slightly more genuine version of how you show up. And that version is the one that listens a beat longer, that lets people have their moment, that sits in the uncomfortable silence without needing to fill it. That version doesn't just become more likable. It becomes someone people genuinely, quietly, can't stop wanting to be around. Which of these 5 habits do you recognize in yourself? Be honest in the comments. I read every single one.